year 2005, what was the first thing that you witnessed that personally horrified and frightened you?
I witnessed Mr. Miscavige physically punching in the face and wrestling to the ground another very senior executive at Scientology International level.
Did you ever begin to receive, or were you ever the recipient of any violence?
Yes, I was. One time I was called into a conference room and asked some questions, and he ordered his secretary to slap me, and she slapped me so hard I fell over into the chairs. One time Mr. Miscavige ordered his communicator to break my finger if I didn't answer his question.
You yourself ever received physical violence from Mr. Miscavige?
There was really only one physical incident where he was very angry and he walked around a very long conference table to get to me. He was yelling and he came up like as if he was going to choke me, but he didn't. He basically grabbed my shoulders and shook me while he was yelling at me.
Let's talk about how you ended up in the hole. You told us that the hole consisted of a couple of, I think, double-wide trailers.
Yes.
What made it the hole rather than a couple of double-wide trailers that people were living in? Describe it for us.
It had bars on the windows, and the one entrance was guarded by security 24 hours a day. And it contained in it, at the time that I went into the hole in May of 2007, there was over 100 top Scientology International executives that had been put there. And the hole basically was some kind of a slang term that had been coined long before I got there. And it was where you ate there, you slept there on the floor, and you never left with the exception of a brief period to go take a shower and come back.
When you say slept there on the floor, did you have cots or bunks or some kind of beds?
No, you slept you were given a sleeping bag, you slept on the floor in a sleeping bag.
And what were the conditions like on the floor to sleep?
Well, there were ants. The place was infested by ants, so ants would crawl on you. And there was a 2-week period during that time when all the electricity had been shut off, as ordered by Mr. Miscavige. And this was, of course, in summer in the desert, and so the temperature in there was about 106.
Why didn't you just take off and get away from the hole?
Not possible. Absolutely not physically possible. Couldn't make it past security. The windows were barred. Right from the beginning when I went in, I obviously was trying to figure out, plotting how to get out.
Were you used to, in your life, getting beaten up? Was that something you were used to?
No, never.
And you were a 40-something-year-old woman with a very, very respected job.
Yes.